Hello and welcome back to the That's Mine YouTube channel. Today I am very excited because when I checked our subscriber count, we already crossed 200 subscribers, right? In which, to be fair, I planned for us to cross 200 subscribers by the end of the year, but it seems like we have crossed 200 subscribers, which is a motivation for me personally. It means that to an extent, some self people love what we are doing here. And yeah, I can't wait for us to cross 500 and cross 1,000 subscribers. Or let me do it this way, right? Yeah, I can tell the quality of content I've been pushing out might not be the best I can do. To an extent, I'm trying my best, but I know that this is definitely not the best I can do, right? I know that I can put more effort into editing the videos for you so as to pass the message properly. I can put more effort into telling stories to engage you and to help you understand. But since this is still a side for me, right? I am not doing that. And what I'm doing is just turning on my laptop, press record, and then I start talking. But I want to be able to do more than that. I want to be able to teach, I want to be able to explain, I want to be able to tell stories, I want to be able to create content and create videos that you people can understand, you people can engage with, you people can follow up with. But in order for me to do that right, to be honest, 200 subscribers is not the best motivation for me. But what I would do right is once we hit 500 or 1K subscribers, I will be emptying my account on a studio for that mind, right? So if you have friends that are interested in tech generally, because I will try as much as possible not to limit the channel to just Flutter and that, right? That are interested in tech generally, right? Invites them to subscribe so that by then once we hit 1K subscribers, you'll be getting, the biggest and the best quality from me, and I'm going to be investing a lot in this channel. So yes, my name is Ayotumide Babalola, also known as Caesar. Um, I I'm just a software engineer. This just kind of like a brief introduction of myself and nothing interesting. And I love exploring a lot. I love, creating a lot, and I love sharing my knowledge, and that's the reason why I have a channel like this to help me share some of the things I've learned so that it's not just in my brain and then it rots with me. A lot of the times, right, there are a lot of things I learn, right? And it's always best to document it for me, right? And in the process of sharing this as knowledge, so that once I forget, or maybe once there's a need to remember, I myself can also point to these videos or to this resource and then use that um as a reference to remember whatever needs to be remembered, right? For instance, yeah. But anyways, this is me talking about design patterns, and we've been talking about it over the past two parts, right? And yeah, I can say this is kind of like very interesting. If you have questions, by the way, please do well to drop it as a comment. I will check them out and give answers. Yeah, so we are in the third part of design patterns. Yeah, so there's something called behavioral patterns, right? So behavioral patterns, they are kind of like concerned with the algorithm, that's the step-by-step procedure, um, and the assignment of responsibilities between objects, right? So how responsibilities are assigned, between objects, but I'll try as much as possible not to complicate the matter, right? And hopefully, like I mentioned, once we hit our 1K subscribers, right? Maybe there'll be explainer, maybe there'll be illustration that can help you, understand better. But for now, I will just try to use words to explain and then write the code so you see it in picture. And one way you can learn is while I'm writing code, you should also write to write, so that you can flow with me and be in the space with me, right? So for me, how I tend to understand things is it's not like I look at things and then I understand. I do, I do, in the sense that I write the code or I try to implement a code, right? Which takes me inside the code and then I can see from the lens of, also whatsoever I am learning from. It could be from the lens of the YouTube video, it could be from the lens of the book, right? So if you don't write the code, I don't know if you would understand. Maybe you have a different brain from me, right? But yeah, a lot of the times, it's always better to just write so that you can understand. So I created a folder called behavioral patterns, and we're going to be talking about some behavioral patterns, right? In which a lot of us might be very, very familiar with, right? So let's create the first behavioral pattern. So the first behavioral pattern is observer pattern. Just observer pattern, right? Of that. So what is like observer pattern? Observer pattern is kind of like a one-to-many kind of dependency between objects, so that when one object state changes, right, or everything that are kind of like dependent on it will be notified and updated automatically. So this definition kind of like, it sounds very, very familiar, right? Yeah, Flutter peeps. It sounds very, very familiar. Yeah, that's because that's what state management using provider is, right? It uses, the observer pattern. So we can try to, let's add provider dot add provide provider. So I can just show you a sample. I don't know how this is feeling. So meaning we can't have provider added, and I don't want to start checking or wasting our time by checking what is wrong in the pub spec. But the current that SDK is 3.1.0 because requires SDK version 3.5.1 version solving field. So my current that version is very, very low. My current that version is not low, so I don't know. Um, anyways, so we don't waste our time here. Sometimes I have issues like this. Um, yeah, so back to observer pattern. What I'll just do is I'll mimic a change notifier class change notifier. And then so let's say we have um a counter view model. Our default Flutter application is always a counter app. So let's say we have a counter view model. We can extend change notifier. Jeez. So we have this int count equals to 0, int get count returns count, right? And then we have this void increments count plus plus, just like your. So we should have a function here called notify listener that just notifies listener. Yeah. So the way this works is, when I was defining observer pattern, I mentioned that it's a one-to-many dependency, right? So we have we have this dependency that holds a particular state, which in our case is count, right? So whenever count changes, right, whatever is observing this view model, whatever is observing this view model will actually be updated, right? So let's say you have a consumer widget that's consuming this view model, right? Whatever is inside that consumer widget would get, updated. Yeah, would get updated, and that is basically what an observer model is. There is a there's a one there is a one to many dependency. So there's that one view model or notifier. I don't know what to use, right? But there's that one that serves data to multiple dependencies that needs it, right? And that is what state management, a lot of state management. So is it tools? Yeah, a lot of state management tools do. Anyways, yeah, hopefully you understand. If you don't understand, you can ask a question, but I feel like this is straightforward, right? Because I would expect everyone listening to this to have like a baseline understanding of Flutter. So if you're coming from the Flutter POV, this is very, very straightforward. So the next one is strategy pattern. So strategy pattern. This class looks like it's going to be short, right? Because I just want to talk about behavioral patterns, and that is all for today's class, right? So yeah, how do I define strategy pattern? So strategic pattern, as kind of like defines a family of algorithms, right? I would be using a sample algorithm for you so that you can see what I'm saying. So defines kind of like a family of algorithm and encapsulate each one and makes them interchangeable, right? So so it kind of like allows algorithm to vary independently from clients that use it, right? So I think this example is something you might have seen in some of in some of the patterns we discussed earlier, or some of the classes we've had earlier, right? Aside not just pattern and architecture class, right? Other classes. So this is a pattern you would have seen, over and over again. So definitely, this is something that would be familiar with you. But this, kind of like defines a family of algorithm and encapsulates each one of them, right, to make them interchangeable, as I have in my note here for definition. But a real world example looks like this, right? Abstract class. Say we have a sort strategy, right? So let's say we have a sort strategy. Say you want to sort a list for those that sorting is more of just arranging or rearranging, right, to follow a particular order or to follow a particular rule. In the sense that you have, let's say you have this list of L, A, D. Um, I- so you have this list, right? You want to sort this list. You can either sort it from, the last alphabet to the first, or the first to last, right? That's what sorting basically means, right? So yeah, we can have a function here called sort, which is a list of integer lists. And then so there are different, sorting algorithm. We'll just talk about we are not talking about them, right? We'll just use an example for to write, we're just going to write to simple example. There is nothing, we are not sorting, we are not implementing bubble sort, so I don't complicate the class, right? What we're talking about is pattern. When we want to talk about algorithm, we can talk about bubble sort, we can talk about quick sort, right? So but for this class, we're just going to be talking about the bubble sort strategy, not talking about, what am I saying talking about? Yeah, we're just going to be using them as an example, mimicking like we've always done, right? So let's say we have a class bubble sort strategy, because yeah, so we can implement sort strategy. So if we are implementing, that means there'll be an implementation here. So bubble sort strategy, and we can have quick sort strategy, implement sort strategy. So yeah, so we have this sort strategy. We can have something else called a sorter new class. So you guys will understand very soon what I'm trying to do. So we have a sort strategy. In this case, let's just create constructor for it's not final class. You know what? Except I want to create a setter. You know what? I'm not complicating it more than this. Let's just create a constructor. Sorter this dot sorter. Yeah, let's just create constructor. If I don't need to make it final, well, I yeah, set strategy. Set strategy, sort strategy, and strategy equals to strategy. Yeah, does this make sense? Okay, we'll find out if it makes sense. Say we have a sort list, right? Int list. Okay, and then we have strategy dot sort. So this is a function for sorting, right? Yeah, all right. So okay, so we have, let's say we have a void main, and then we have final sorter equals to sorter bubble sort strategy, and then we say sorter dot sort list, say 1 5 6 and 7 3, right? Sorter dot sorts this. We can easily switch the algorithm from using a bubble sort strategy to using a quick sort strategy, right? So sorter dot set strategy, quick sort strategy, and then we can say sorter dot sort list, and then sort, right? And then sort this new list. So you can see how easy it is for us to interchange algorithm, right? So this is what a strategy pattern is. It does not it's not necessarily supposed to mean just sorting lists, right, or sorting arrays. Yeah, you can, let's say you have an algorithm, a common algorithm, or a common type of algorithm for something you do at your workplace, right? That uses like different strategy of operation. Take for instance now, say based on a let's say you're building a directions application, right? Say based on, this is kind of like a very stupid idea, but I think it can work. Let's say you want to use the battery percentage to decide if the, driver should arrive, faster, maybe pass a faster route, or, pass a slower route or something, right? Check the battery percentage, use, the faster route strategy, else use, the slower route strategy. I don't know if that example makes sense, bro. Yeah, you get the point I'm trying to, put in. So that's what a strategy pattern is, right? So it allows you to be able to switch strategy. A second. Yeah, so what I wanted to do, I actually paused the recording. What I wanted to do is, maybe implement the quick sort and implement the bubble sort so you guys can see. But I'm sorry, yeah, if I do implement this, I'm going to be switching the class from, except I maybe search the internet and then I copy and then put it inside here. Except I search the internet, but I'm going to be switching the class from algorithms and data structures to from patterns to algorithm and data structures, and I think that's a future class. But meaning I don't want to divert the attention of this class. So if you can implement bubble sort and quick sort on your end, please do, and test this so that, yeah, that'll give you a better understanding. I can give you it. Maybe it's even your task self to do. So just play around that, right? Yeah. So now you have an understanding of a strategy pattern. Uh, okay. I don't think this class has to even go too long, right? To be honest. But anyways, let's talk about the command pattern. So yeah, this command pattern. I think I'm trying to look at. So most likely last that is our last, pattern, right? It's our last pattern before moving to our architecture. So command pattern right there. So what's command pattern, right? So command pattern kind of like, encapsulates a request as an object, right? Allowing you to parameterize clients with different requests, right? So the thing is, if I'm giving you this definitions, it's going to sound like rapping or something. So let's just hop into it without and then explain after. So class, abstract class command. So let's say we have uh, execute command and then undo command, right? Undo command. So uh we have the first command class add item command, which implements command. I can tell that I feel sleepy already. This is 11 p.m. So yeah, final list of string. So this is just a pattern for implementing commands, but let me just be done so I can explain. Yeah, so final string item, and then we can create constructor, right? So should we generate or just create constructor for final fields? Yeah, that's fine. So we have the very first, let's implement this. The very first one is execute, which is execute the hard item command, which is list dot hard, then item, right? Yeah, item. So final string item. You know what? Let's make this, and there's no point making it public if the constructor is not named. So yeah, then undo is remove item. So let's say we have a class that invokes command permits my bad nomenclature, right? Command invoker, and then we have a final list of command and commands equals to int current index starting outside the index with -1. So void execute command 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 uh commands dot add command that executes current index plus plus. Void undo if current index is greater than or equals to 0. Commands current index dot undo current index minus void redo. And let's say I was editing, I would have like sped up this my process so I don't bore you house with my gibberish and everything. But anyways, current index, if current index is less than commands.length, match current index plus plus. I think the reason why. So what we're trying to do, command invoker, it definitely needs a function to execute command. Right, execute command. We want to be able to undo. We want to be able to redo. Right, commands. Right. So if you this is the algorithm behind commands on your phone. So for instance, now you know you might be thinking about how does my phone or how does my laptop know? For instance, if I press Command Z, it takes me back, and then if I, if I Command and Shift, it brings me forward, right? You might be wondering how does your computer knows, right? Or what's the pattern behind it? So it stores your command, or it stores whatever you've been doing in a list of command, right? So that when you undo, it can use the correct index, right, to undo, right? When you redo, it can still go forward. It can go forward to the last index and till it gets to its max index, right? And that's the reason why we're doing this check. It can go forward till it gets to its max index, and then before it stops. That way we are not having errors, right? So even if I'm trying to redo from here, I can't get anything because yeah. So current index commands, all we want to do is execute current index dot execute. So yeah, so we can test this out. Void main. Can have a final list. You know what? Let's just use this. Scan final command invoker, right? So invoker equals command invoker dot execute command. So let's say we want to add item to the list. Add item command to the list. So lists. We can do item one. Item one. We can execute another command and add the second item, item two, and we can print list. So when we run this, in which I hope it should run, because for some reason it's finding an error. Yeah, this issue. Let's see if I can try something direct. Lib slash behavioral patterns slash this is command pattern, right? Dirt. Let's see if it works. Oops, still failed. So I'm sorry, I wanted to really run this, but hey, it's refusing. So I'll just show you what would be printed here. So item one and item two will be printed here. Item, you know what? Interestingly, right? From the next class, we will be using CodePad, right? So for those that don't know CodePad is an interesting online code editor built by DartMind, right? Maybe our server is down. Who knows? I, let's try the main one to see if it still works. And this could be network. I don't know why this one is not working, but I'd love to show you guys this. Anyways, let's see if this loads. Maybe I have network issues. Maybe I don't. So maybe from next class we'll be using CodePad, but for some reasons I don't know. It doesn't seem to open, which might suggest I have network issue. Yeah, it's a network issue. Uh okay, let's see. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on. Or could it be because I turned off my VPN? Okay, let's just ignore this, right? I'll check, I'll figure out maybe next time, right? I'll make sure everything is, everything is prepared. And when I'm using our code part to teach, right, whenever there's a bug, it's going to be very, very easy for me to like, spot it, maybe fix it in the class. But I would not want to distract and disrupt. So maybe fix it after the class, and then the next class we know that we are not seeing that bug again in code part. But it's a that part. Um it imitates that part. Let me just put it that way. Anyways, what will be printed is item one and item two. I thought this class was not going to be long, bro. Serious, we've spent 33 minutes already. So then we can use our invoker to undo, right? And when we undo what and we print list, what should show is just item one, or what should be printed is just item one, right? So just put this as comment. I'm sorry I cannot run this particular project for reasons personal to Dart and Flutter. Yeah, the highest supported language version. Then where did this get? Most likely this is our program. Second. So let's try this. Oh yeah, now I see. I don't know what or who created this project and was having 3.5.1. I did not try to read the error message, but I think we got our fix already. So as you can see, I was not lying. This was printed item one, and when you undo item, item just item one. Let's try to redo and let's see what gets printed. Right. So when we call invoker the redo, right? Print, and then when you run this, it gives us the item too. But let's try something. Let's redo again and let's see what happens. If our application crashes, it doesn't do anything. So you can see, right? So let's undo twice. Undo and undo twice. What happens? Yeah, empty list. So you can see, right? Let's say, at work they are telling you, hey, what's up, come and implement command, right? Where you can redo and undo, or maybe it's a different kind of command. It doesn't have to be redo and undo, by the way. It could be anything. You can use our command pattern, not ours, but yeah, you can use command pattern for this implementation. Hopefully in the future, you would I would give examples on how to do these, or how to use this in a real world project, or we'll be using all this in real world project. We could just sit down and then build, you know we could just sit down and build based off observer pattern, right? We could sit down and build based off strategy. Right. So yeah, this has been a very, very interesting class. It's just me, myself, and I talking to myself, but hopefully, I'm passing a message to you guys listening. Uh, yeah, once again, thanks for subscribing. Please feel free to share the videos with your friend. It's much more fun when you're more people. So, yeah, bring in your friends to, join in, learn, understand, right? Yeah, the boring part of Flutter, and that this is where you're going to be seeing topics like this, right? Most likely. But yeah, thank you very much for joining. See you in the next video, which will be talking about architectures then.